Okay, so there was a recent Q&A made from the Caiross developers about Chronicles and what's coming from August throughout October. Of course, this is probably not everything, but it does address the main updates that are going to happen. So I've pretty much taken notes of what they said in the video, and I'll go over them one by one in the order that they were announced, at least the most important details. So first ones, I know some people are interested in this. They addressed whether you will be able to change the gender of your summoner in the future, and they just said a flat out no. They intend to keep the gender the same as it was introduced through the story, as it is pretty much related to the lore. And now for the minor enthusiasts, as you know, currently only Summoner Pass buyers have unlimited mining available to them. So they have announced that it's not gonna be like sort of a just straight up unlimited change. However, they are looking into ways to increase the materials available to be gathered for free-to-play players who do not buy the pass, and potentially removing the limit completely. After that, they have mentioned that as the content gets more difficult, you will need help in clearing it. And for that, they are finally looking into releasing the level 80 monsters as well as summoners. As far as I see, there was no ETA, however, it was planned around September. Now, they also addressed the new continuous guild raid, or guild infinite raid, or how like they to call it, guild breakthrough. Now, I'm unsure whether they are referring to the guild infinite raid when they say guild breakthrough. Could be that it's a different content, however, from the description they gave, it sort of leads me to believe that this will be the Guild Infinite raid. And they gave more details about it. It's basically guild members trying to survive and kill as many monsters as possible. And your rank will be based on the damage dealt. And they also mentioned that this can be played together with guildies at the same time. Also, they have addressed a question about the Trial of Ascension. So I saw that someone asked a question whether there will be any plans for extending the Trial of Ascension, maybe adding a DOA Hell mode, as it is available in the Sky Arena. However, they do not give any information about expanding the tower, but what they said is they are looking forward to lowering the requirements of the, rather not the requirements, but the amount of time it takes to complete the tower, because as of now these are 400 stages in total every month, and as you know, the Chronicles devs are looking into ways to lower the fatigue of playing the game, so there's a good chance we will be seeing either a shorter version of the Trial of Ascension, maybe something similar to what they did with these hidden rooms. Instead of having like 32, they made it 4. Perhaps they will be cutting out all of the stages in between, like 10 divisions of 10. So let's say instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, you would be going at like 10, 20, 30, 40, and having only 20 stages in total. That, again, I'm only speculating on the change, but they did mention that the Trial of Ascension may have received some changes in the future. Also, a question about Brawl Arena was addressed. So the devs mentioned that currently, I mean, since there are only a certain amount of time you can play Brawl Arena per day, this is putting a lot of issues on players who would like to play at other times. So they did mention that they will either be looking to adjust the time zones a little bit, or even make this a 24/7 mode so that you could match with anyone at any time. And I mean, from their perspective, it kind of works out. I can see the limit behind Battlefield because it does require 9 other players, but for Brawl Arena, if there are a lot of players who want to play outside of the specified times, again, Brawl Arena only requires 1 other person, so if they are able to match, especially on global servers where population is still really high, I don't see any problems in them releasing this feature. Also, there was a question about the professions, and the developers didn't go too in depth about this one, but they did confirm that there will be additional items coming to the current professions, and especially these four, because they did address the various like crafting tables you buy for 1000 crystals, and pretty much that they will definitely be adding more items to all professions soon enough. Now, there were some questions about the Contana region, and the developers gave us a few notes. First of all, that the Contana region repeat request selection will be expanded. So currently, as you know, Gokurangma is the last region where you get sort of these like premium repeat requests, because you get Faint Core, you get arena tickets from here. In Contana, you're only able to get 3 repeat requests, so they did mention expanding those. And also, they did say that the Contana story will be receiving additional main story missions, which is, I mean, it's not a secret. I've already addressed it in the previous Death Note video for Korea. They did sort of mention that. But yeah, looks like that will be coming to NA and Global as well. Now, another change that was roughly mentioned before, but they did address it in this video as well, is that it's quite hard for newer players to catch up with older players due to rates being super limited. I mean, at the current rate, you are only able to enter 3 times per week for free. So they did mention that raids will be accessible with energy rather than just straight up tickets or weekly entries. Now, the devs did address the addition of the research tower to the global servers as well within the given time frame period. However, they did mention something else, and they mentioned this thing called the energy tower. And what the description that they gave for it is that it will be essentially sort of like an item, a building that can generate you energy. So that's another source of some free energy, hopefully, to help you progress a bit further. And probably the most exciting part that you've been waiting for, the new monsters. So they announced 2 new monsters coming. So first of all, they confirmed that the paladins will be coming in September rather than October. And during the same September, we will also be getting the phoenixes. So from the base game of Sky Arena, phoenixes, they weren't too amazing, I would say. The fire ones was very strong because it did have a high damage skill, it had AoE healing every turn, and it did have a self-revive upon death. But for the water and wind ones, they were more focused on PvE, so hard to say whether they will see a lot of use in PvP in this case. Now, for the Beast Riders, this is a whole different story, because Beast Riders were absolutely dominating PvP leaderboards, guild siege battles, and yeah. So a lot of the Beast Riders were very relevant. The water one had the ability to strip and do damage based on the amount of debuffs stripped, I believe. She also had defense ignore, if I'm not wrong, based on the amount of debuffs she stripped. So could be a very decent unit for the whole immunity meta. The wind one did have an ability to have a single target strip, as well as an AoE defense break together with an attack bar reduction. Now, how the attack bar reduction will work here, I'm unsure. There's a good chance it will be lowering attack speed. There's a good chance it will be increasing cooldowns, but the wind one was very, very relevant. And the fire one was sort of a unit that did a decent single target damage and defense break, and it was basically increasing its attack speed based on the amount of attack speeds she got. So let's say if you increased your attack speed once, her attack speed for the whole battle would increase permanently. So that could be interesting to see how it works out in here. Possibly it's just gonna be a flat attack speed increase as well. For the light and dark ones, they were super strong as well. The light one, I believe, had an AoE strip, if I'm not wrong. Although do correct me on that if I'm not remembering correctly. And the dark one had decent single target damage as well, if I remember correctly. But then again, I haven't used them. I haven't seen them in a long time, so the skills are a bit lousy in my memory. But yeah, lots of exciting changes coming. Hope you enjoyed, and peace.